Welcome, everybody, to the fourth episode of the Coffee Break podcast. I hate this microphone so much, and I'm really hoping that this audio is not an issue today because my patience today is not at is nowhere near where it usually is. Anyway, welcome to the fourth episode of the Coffee Break podcast with your host Stephen Coffey. Hello, everybody, and this past week has been a hectic week when it comes to sports. Per the usual, we're going to be starting with our New York sports segment. Nothing really going on in New York sports. It sucks because I start this podcast when there's really, not a lot going on. There's no football going on. There's barely any baseball going on. And, there was the Olympic break. There was for the hockey season. There was the All-Star weekend for the NBA season. Not that I really cover NBA that much. But in terms of New York sports, Francisco Lindor got his stitches removed on his left hamate bone and is still on track for opening day, which is huge for the Mets and the Mets lineup. Bo Bichette so far looks pretty mid. I'm a little nervous about him playing at third base. He made a really nice play yesterday, but the day before, he doesn't have a good arm over there, and he missed a throw from third base to first base the other day. And I'm getting a little nervous about Bo Bichette playing over there at third base. I know he's got a lot of pop in the bat, so I'm not really too worried about that. Something else I wanted to talk about was the ABS challenge system, the automatic ball strike challenge system. Do I love it or do I hate it? I think I'm very neutral about it. Some players really don't like it. Some players do like it. But it takes away the whole framing aspect for catchers. And, I don't know. The umpires are doing their job, and if umpires are getting challenged many times a game and they're getting it wrong, it's a really, really bad look on the umpires, and a lot worse of a look than it may seem, because umpires are umpires still get backlash constantly. Is this better? This might be better. This might be a little bit better. Okay, but umpires constantly get backlash throughout the MLB seasons, especially in the playoffs. So I'm curious to see how this ABS challenge system is going to work to start the season, and I'm sure that we'll get a much clearer vision as to if the players like it or if they hate it. Last thing to talk about in the New York segment, and it's not even New York anymore. It's L.A., and Artemi Panarin had 2 assists in his first game with the LA Kings last night in their 6-4 loss to Vegas. Artemi Panarin, I saw a video literally right before this that because Artemi Panarin took 72 to wear for the Kings, and the mascot was number 72 as well. And as a gift for the mascot allowing Artemi Panarin to be to have his number, he gifted the mascot a Rolex, which is really, really cool. So, but yeah, Artemi Panarin on the LA Kings already making an impact. Yeah, they lost, but I'm surprised they lost because Vegas didn't have any of their barely had any of their top six forwards. A lot of the guys are still coming back from the Olympics, and Mark Stone and Jack Eichel. So I'm shocked. And Tomas Hertl, I forgot about that. Cool for Artemi Panarin, I guess. Again, I'm not a big Artemi Panarin guy, so. But that'll do it for the New York segment, and we'll kick it to the Around the League segment. And wait a second. Something feels off. Hold on. USA Hockey, baby. Let's go. Sorry, that was really corny. I got rid of the glasses right away. But USA Hockey, thank you, my boy Nate, for allowing me to borrow his jersey. He's got several stains on this jersey, and I don't even want to ask where they're from. So we're going to recap the men's Olympic hockey for the Olympics. So we're going to go right into, I guess, the knockout stage or the playoffs, whatever they call it. But the bracket was looking like Canada, U.S., Slovakia, and Finland. Those 4 teams all got byes from their performance in the group stage. And I didn't know this when the last time we were recording, but I didn't notice this the last time we were recording, but all 12 teams make the playoffs. Only 4 teams get byes. And then we have Switzerland at 5, Germany at 6, Sweden at 7, Czechia at 8, Denmark at 9, Latvia at 10, France at 11, and Italy at 12. We're going to go right into round 1. We're going to recap all of the games from these playoffs. The first round, we're really not going to, we're going to talk briefly about. But the number 8 seed Czechia beats number 9 seed Denmark 3-2. Sweden, number 7 seed, beats number 10 seed Latvia 5-1. They move on to play. Sweden moves on to play the U.S. Czechia moves on to play Canada. Number 6 seed Germany beats 11 seed France 5-1. Germany goes on to play Slovakia, and number 5 Switzerland beats number 12 Italy 3-0. And Switzerland goes on to play Finland. Now we get into the good stuff, okay? This is the quarterfinals. We had 3 overtime games in the quarterfinals. We had number 3 Slovakia beating number 6 Germany 6-2. That was the only non-overtime game. And then we had number 4 Finland beating number 5 Switzerland 3-2 in overtime. Arturi Lehkonen with the game winner. He continues to come up clutch. He scored the overtime winner for Montreal to send them to the Stanley Cup final in 2021. And then the next year scored the overtime winner against Edmonton to sweep Edmonton and send the Avalanche to the Stanley Cup final in 2022. In this game, the Swiss were down 2-0 with less than 7 minutes left and just blew it. Sebastian Aho and Miro Heiskanen with the goals to tie it. And yeah, Arturi Lehkonen buries the overtime winner and sends Finland to the semis. Canada, number 1 seed, beats number 8 seed Czechia in overtime 4-3. Andre Palat with the go-ahead goal, Islanders rep, midway through the third. An extremely, extremely controversial goal with 6 men on the ice. Not the first time Andre Palat has scored with too many men on the ice, and I got PTSD. Nick Suzuki then ties it with less than 4 minutes left, and then Mitch Marner wins it in overtime. If Canada ended up losing this game because of that Andre Palat goal, we would have never heard the end of it. And in hindsight, we're okay with it. So we're good. And then number 2 seed USA beats 7 seed Sweden 2-1 in overtime. This was a nail biter. This was really a nail biter. Dylan Larkin breaks the ice midway through the second with a goal, and with an empty net, Minka Zibanejad ties it for Sweden with 1 minute and 30 seconds left in third. My goodness, I was petrified. I was so scared that the U.S. was going to lose this game. But comes overtime. Quinn Hughes wins it with an absolute snipe off the inside of the post to send the U.S. to the semis. Now we get into the semis. Canada beats Finland 3-2. Finland pulls a Slovakia. Not as bad, though. Mikko Rantanen and Erik Haula scores early for Finland. And then Sam Reinhart scores in the second, followed by Shea Theodore scoring midway through the third to tie it. And then Finland takes a penalty in the final minutes of regulation, and then resulting in Nathan MacKinnon scoring a goal with 36 seconds left in regulation. It was inevitable that Canada was going to score that goal on the power play with that lethal power play unit and that lethal top line in Nathan MacKinnon, Macklin Celebrini, and Connor McDavid. So that was inevitable. And then the U.S. takes care of business against Slovakia. They win 6-2. Larkin starts off the scoring again with a goal, followed by Tage Thompson, Jack Hughes, Jack Eichel, Jack Hughes again before Slavkovsky puts Slovakia on the board. Obviously, it wasn't enough, and U.S. is going to the gold medal game against Canada. The bronze medal game, Finland beats Slovakia 6-1. Whatever, that's not what we're here for. We're here for the gold medal game. And that gold medal game was absolutely unbelievable. That was cinema. Absolute cinema. So we're going to run through that game. Matt Boldy scores a goal 6 minutes into the first period. U.S. was off and running. Canada dominated from that point on, though. Connor Hellebuck was unbelievable in this game. He stood on his head for the entirety of this game. The shots on goal were 42-28 in favor of Canada. It was an unbelievable game from Connor Hellebuck, an unbelievable tournament from Connor Hellebuck. He always gets absolutely trashed when it comes to big moments, right? Big moments are born from great opportunity. Sorry, that was my inner Herb Brooks. Hellebuck always gets bashed because he's not a good playoff performer when it comes to the NHL, and this totally shoots all of that down. And for that, it was an unbelievable performance from Connor Hellebuck in this game and the entirety of the tournament. Midway through the second period, Canada had a 5-on-3 power play for 1 minute and 33 seconds and couldn't score. I don't know how they couldn't score on a 5-on-3 with that much superpower. Right? Am I saying that right? Superpower? It was literally like that. It's super. They're all superheroes on that power play unit, but they didn't score on that 5-on-3 power play for 1 minute and 33. But then following that, Canada finally scores with less than 2 minutes left in the second. That was scored by Cale Makar. And then the beginning of the third period, Devon Toews gets a pass right in front of the net with Hellebuck out of position, and he makes one of the most incredible and clutch saves I have ever seen in my entire life. He just sticks his stick behind his back in desperation and deflects the puck that was going into the net through the crease and wide of the net. And it was one of the craziest saves. Everybody behind the net thought he scored. Everybody watching the game thought he scored. I thought he scored. I thought Toews scored. And Hellebuck comes up with an unbelievable save. And it was a sure goal. It should have gone in the net. It was a sure goal, and that would have won it for Canada. Then a couple of minutes later, Celebrini gets a breakaway. He's unsuccessful on the breakaway, kind of loses his footing, kind of slides into Hellebuck a little bit. And then a few minutes after that, Nathan MacKinnon misses a wide open net that he'll probably make 99 times out of 100. I couldn't believe that Nathan MacKinnon missed this. I saw Nathan MacKinnon have the puck on his stick with a yawning cage in front of him. Connor Hellebuck totally out of place. And he hits the side of the net. And I could not believe it. The entirety of the hockey world could not believe that Nathan MacKinnon missed this. And then is handed a stuffed animal after he loses the game and gets his silver medal. He's gonna. Oh my gosh. That stuffed animal is. It's not making it home. It's not making it home with him. Whether he throws it in the trash or rips it apart. I don't know why they do that anyway. They give stuffed animals to the losers of the Olympics, of this game specifically, and in the women's match, and in the women's gold medal. By the way, congratulations to the women's team too. I was watching overtime of the women's game in the gym with two of my roommates. I threw it on my phone and I looked up the game. I don't know how Planet Fitness doesn't have the women's gold medal game on one of the 50 TVs that they have in there. I don't understand that. It's mind-blowing to me. But I looked it up. I saw that they were down 1-0. We had the game on at the house in the third period. They were down 1-0 US, and went to the gym and then looked up on my phone what the score was just because I wanted to see, and saw that they were heading into overtime. And so I downloaded Peacock on my phone and put in my login, and we ended up watching a little bit of overtime, and Megan Keller with an with a nasty move, and then shoves it home, and it was electric. It was pandemonium in Milan for both the U.S. men's and women's teams. So it was unbelievable. So yeah, McKinnon misses that wide open net that he makes probably 99 times out of 100, and then with 6:34 left, the U.S. gets a 4-minute double minor penalty. They get a 4-minute double minor power play after Jack Hughes gets rocked and starts bleeding. They get a 4-minute power play. And then about a minute and 30 seconds left in that power play, Bo Horvat draws a high sticking penalty. And so it's 4-on-4 for a little while. After all of that, nobody scores. And the game goes to 3-on-3 overtime. And this is my opinion on the 3-on-3 overtime. It's great for the NHL regular season. I absolutely love it for the NHL regular season. It's more entertaining. There's more goals scored because there's more open ice. When it comes to the Olympics, leave it out. You can't have maybe in the group stage, that's fine. And when it comes to the playoffs, you can't have, especially a gold medal game, decided by 3-on-3 overtime. That's not real hockey, okay? It's not. It's not real hockey. You can't decide a gold medal, something that these athletes dream of as kids and dream of even as athletes when they're playing. They pray that they get chosen to be on these rosters for their countries. You cannot have a 3-on-3 overtime decide who wins the gold medal. That cannot happen. It needs to be 5-on-5. For all I care, I do not care if 3-on-3 overtime was in the semis, quarterfinals, cannot be in the finals, cannot be in the gold medal game. That's terrible. So anyway, they go to 3-on-3 overtime. I'm nervous. I'm a nervous wreck. I'm surprised I even got up for this game, by the way. It was an 8:00 game. I was able to get up. All my roommates were watching. We had a couple of our friends over at our house too. So it was loud, so it wasn't hard to ignore either. So we go to overtime. We're a little bit back and forth throughout overtime, and then the U.S. has it in their defensive zone. Jack Hughes pokes it down the ice. Zach Werenski beats out Nathan McKinnon for the puck and sends it cross ice to Jack Hughes and goes 5-hole on Jordan Binnington, and the USA wins gold. I'm sure that the people in Martyri are looking at me funny, but Alexa, play Freebird. Won't you fly on Freebird? Yeah, that's been playing all day. Freebird. What's that song by Toby Keith? My daddy served in the army and lost his right arm. Oh, courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. Yeah, that's what it's called. Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue. That was playing a lot in my house. Courtesy of Red, White, and Blue and Freebird. It's like one of my roommates' favorite songs is Freebird, so he's playing it constantly. It was played throughout the Four Nations tournament too, even though they ended up losing, but the U.S. ended up losing to Canada. But this is way more valuable, way more important than the Four Nations tournament. This is the Olympics, baby. Come on, USA. USA wins gold, and wow, what an absolute thriller. Jack Hughes. But I don't even know if Jack Hughes knew that it went in at first. But man, that was electric. Just sprinting down the ice, throws his helmet off. At first, it looked like he was throwing it into the stands from the TV perspective. But I saw like a bunch of different videos. He kind of just like flung it back. He kind of just like flung it backwards. And it didn't make its way it didn't make it to the stands. But what an unbelievable goal. What an unbelievable interview at the end of that game too. Jack Hughes saying, I'm so proud to be American. I'm so proud to be representing the United States of America and all that kind of stuff. So, I got goosebumps. watching that. Oh, I also loved that they were playing Freebird after every goal that they would score. That in the arena. That was pretty sick. But um, but Austin Matthews and Matthew Tkachuk were holding Johnny Gaudreau's jersey, his USA jersey. He likely would have been playing in these games for the United States if he hadn't passed away, if he hadn't suddenly passed away back in 2024. So, but it's a phenomenal gesture. Johnny Gaudreau's parents were there, and Johnny Gaudreau's two daughters. That is what had me. Johnny Gaudreau, and this was an unbelievable moment. Just in sports, Johnny Gaudreau's two daughters were brought on the ice by Zach Werenski and Dylan Larkin, and they had the two of them, the two daughters, be a part of the USA picture of them winning, and it brought me to tears. It was a beautiful moment. I'm getting emotional thinking about it right now. It was such a beautiful moment for this team, and an incredible gesture to not only to a hockey player, but clearly a friend to all of these, to many of these American players. So, but yeah, USA won gold, and that's unbelievable. Brock Nelson gets his revenge from the Four Nations, which is great. And he's a gold medalist. And I love to see it. I'm always riding with Brock Nelson, man. I love that guy. But other than that, folks, in the sports world, it's we're coming up on a really exciting time. This is a really exciting time, in my opinion. This is probably the best year when it comes to sports as a whole. Right, we had the Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago. We just wrapped up the Olympics. The World Baseball Classic is coming around in next month, and then we have the MLB season. We obviously have March Madness. We have the NHL and NBA playoffs, and then we have the World Cup this summer. And then we got MLB playoffs, and then we got the NFL season as well. We got 10 really, really significant things going on, and this is just such an exciting year for sports, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited to watch the World Baseball Classic. That's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully nobody gets injured in those games. In other news, I guess the trade deadline for the NHL is coming up within the next week and a half. By the time the next episode comes out, or definitely by the time the next episode comes out, because I'm going on spring break next week, but. Definitely when the next episode comes out, that deadline will have come and go, and hopefully I will have all of those trades for you guys to update you guys with, and my thoughts obviously behind all those trades, and as always. So that'll wrap it up for the Around the League segment. And as always, we will go to our sports betting segment. First, as always, we're going to be going over my picks from the last episode. I have my Instagram reel pulled up here. We had Switzerland over the Czech Republic. I believe that hit. You bet. We had Switzerland over the Czech Republic. That was an overtime winner for Switzerland, so that money line hit. What's our next pick, Steve? Tell me.
France versus Canada over 7.5.
France versus Canada.
-115.
Oh, listen to this.
I think Canada is going to wallop France. I think it's going to be an absolute blowout, and I think Canada is going to score. I wouldn't be surprised if Canada scores 10 goals.
Canada ended up scoring 10 goals. I'm a mastermind, okay? Canada ended up winning that game 10-2, so that obviously hit at over 7.5. Yeah, Canada scored 10 goals. I'm a mastermind, guys, okay? Listen to my picks. Latvia versus Denmark at over 5.5. I don't know how this was still plus odds. They ended up, it was close. They ended up scoring 6 goals. It hit, but it was still, it was kind of a risky one. I got a little nervous towards the end. So we're 3 for 3 so far. And then our last pick was Germany against the U.S. over 6.5. That didn't hit. That did not finish out our parlay. They scored 6 goals, and we needed 7. So that one didn't hit, but that's okay. We went 3 for 4. We looked pretty good. We're looking pretty good so far. I think we've missed 2 picks out of the 3 episodes that we've had, and so we're 10 for 12 so far, which is pretty nice. I think that's pretty good numbers. So, but that's what we got. We'll move on to our parlay of the week. There's only 4 games on Friday, so we're going to touch on all of them. The Minnesota Wild playing the Utah Mammoth. I have the Minnesota Wild money line at plus 115. I don't understand how this is plus odds because the Mammoth have 64 points and the Wild have 78. The Wild aren't favorites in this. I don't know how they're not favorites. But that's unbelievable to me. Anaheim Ducks minus 1.5 against the Jets. That's at plus 180. Ducks have been really, really surprising. So I think 1.5 is a safe bet. The Sabres money line over the Florida Panthers at plus 100. How is this plus odds too? I don't understand how this is plus odds. The Florida Panthers are at 61 points. The Buffalo Sabres are at 72. Why is this plus odds? The Buffalo Sabres, yeah, I know we just had an Olympic break, but the Buffalo Sabres have been on a heater. Tage Thompson scored the first goal for the Sabres last night, and they won by a score of 2-1. So I don't get how this is plus odds. And then the last leg, we have Golden Knights money line over the Washington Capitals at minus 110. At this point, all of the guys that were at the Olympics for Vegas will be back. It's a very even game. I think this one isn't a gimme. I think the other 3 are gimmies. Vegas money line against the Capitals. Those 4 legs add up to plus 21.98. 1 free flip dollar pays out $22.98. And that, folks, will do it for the 4th episode of the Coffee Break podcast. Just happy to be an American, baby. Just happy to be an American. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, turn the notifications on. Follow me on Instagram and TikTok at the Coffee Break podcast. Thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Peace.